2020 starts off with some really interesting news that managed to put a twist on the console wars debacle. These days, we're starting to see the console exclusivity mentality fading away for some of the big game publishers. In fact, there are quite a lot of exclusives that has to surrender against the power of the PC. I suspect that Henry Cavill has something to do with all of this.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PC.
But maybe that's just me. Anyway, a while back, 3 of the most recent Quantic Dream games that were PlayStation exclusives like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human got their PC release debut on the Epic Games Store. Not a store that I would choose, but they got the release there. Hideo Kojima's polarizing UPS simulator Death Stranding will also have a PC release. Red Dead Redemption 2 has an utterly horrendous PC launch, but it has a PC release that did so well it received a substantial boost of sales as it got on Steam. Horizon Zero Dawn apparently is going to have a PC release too. Halo the Master Chief Collection promises to remaster a lot of the Halo games on PC. There are also some speculations that The Last of Us Part 2 is also going to be on PC, but that's still based on some questionable grounds. This just shows that with a lot of patience, you can play a lot of the amazing games from the previous console generations into a platform that will always live for years to come. And by years, I mean PC as a platform will always live for years. The components can either die or perform terribly against more demanding titles in the future, and that's precisely why we do upgrades on them. But even then, it's not like you have to upgrade every year, just the components that you need. You guys might remember the PC build that I did around November 2018. That has some old components even at the time. It has a first-gen 4-core 8-threads Ryzen 5 1500X, which was released in 2017, and an RX 570, which is a refresh of the RX 470, which was released in 2016. As far as performance goes, this PC is still doing really damn well. One of the most demanding game of last year, Metro Exodus, runs really well on the system at high settings too, and I'm using parts that are 3 years old. I'm even confident that this thing can run the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 on around medium to high settings. My point is, your PC can last quite a while depending on your configuration, and you don't need to do a lot of significant upgrades. And even if you do, your gaming experience is still a lot better than what the consoles can offer. You can get the power that the consoles will offer in the future today with the PC, because that's what the 2 next-gen consoles are doing basically. They're trying to catch up with the PC's tech. All of those console exclusives coming to PC is a trend that has happened and will happen again. In fact, I'd even say that the trend has continued to the next-gen consoles. The PS5 has Godfall as a PS5 exclusive, but exclusive as in only a PlayStation console get it, because that one is coming to the Epic Store on PC. Again, not a good store, but still on PC. We do know that the Xbox Series X will have a smoother transition, as in, they won't really have games that are exclusive to Xbox Series X at launch. They will be on the PC and the older Xbox One as well. The Series X exclusive that we do know, like Hellblade 2, will come to PC as well, which reminds me to play the first Hellblade because it's been a while since I played that game. So in other words, we're not seeing any promising console exclusives that will sell the 2 next-gen consoles yet. And if this pattern of coming to PC anyway continues, the actually exclusive next-gen console games will eventually come to PC as the next-gen console arrives. At this moment in time, I see no reason for people to buy a next-gen console. Sure, they will offer better performance, and they might even be able to play Cyberpunk 2077 properly compared to the last-gen console, but why do you have to go for that if you can get a relatively decent gaming PC for less than $1,000? If price is your concern, think of it this way. The consoles haven't been out yet and we don't know the price for them, but would you rather save your money for those consoles or save your money for a PC? Why invest in a platform that we're still in the dark over in terms of value for money when you can invest in a platform that will give you a great value for money for not just now but in the future as well? Why invest in a platform that will restrict you to specific games when you can just invest in a platform that will definitely hold both of those games and many more games in the past and in the future? My suggestion is this. If you want to get a really good gaming experience, get the PC. If there's a console exclusive that you want to play, like say, Persona 6, then save up your money to buy that console and complain to Atlus that they should get on with the times and ask Sega to port their games to the PC. But by the time that happens, which I'm sure is gonna take a while, the PC should provide you a really good gaming experience. While we wait for more information on the two upcoming consoles, save your money to get a PC. The two consoles might have more of an edge in terms of price, but considering the level of hardware that they're bringing into the table, I really think that they're gonna be pretty expensive. Maybe some of you have a specific use case in why you need the next generation gaming consoles. Maybe some of you are not too well versed in PC building. I mean, there are already loads and loads of tutorials on how to build your PC on YouTube for free. All you need is to spend your time and your willingness to learn. And if you have any specific questions regarding PC building, or you're stuck in a specific part or whatever, I am pretty much almost always online. Don't be afraid to hit me up on the Twitter DMs or my email if you're not into Twitter. Links down below. Don't disappoint yourself with the underwhelming performance of the next-gen consoles and take a step into PC gaming. Here's another Indonesian story that I want to share with you guys because this is in regards to the gray and awkward world of piracy. Piracy is something that the government loves to try to stop, and one of those governments is my own. No surprises there. Every single time I go to the movies, whether it be at Cinema 21 or CGV, I always have those anti-piracy warnings and how you shouldn't bring cameras to films because honestly, why would you? Camp rips aren't that great anyway. So it's no surprise that the government will do what it can to wipe out all sorts of illegal streaming services off of the planet, one of which was Indo21, an infamous piracy website that a lot of my friends use, and I don't because I don't trust it. The website has since closed down in December last year, and when it got closed, I noticed that a lot of people on social media are quite salty about it. That is, until I found out that there are 200 plus more websites that are offering the same sorts of movie piracy services, and they've been getting their dose of films from there. And that's pretty much going as expected. Trying to stop piracy in this day and age is like trying to cut off the head of Hydra. You cut off one head, two more shall take its place. Except instead of two, it's 200. The funny thing is, the Indonesia's Ministry of Information and Communications said that they didn't block Indo21. They said that the piracy website closed themselves because the owners have a guilty conscience and realized that what they're doing is really bad. Sure. Now, I did a little bit of research on this and I found out that Indonesia has blocked at least 1,130 illegal streaming services throughout last year alone, and those blocks were done by none other than the ministry. I think it's safe to say that a lot of us are pirates or have pirated in the past, but there's one element of piracy that I just simply cannot condone, and that is when you are being predatory to your users. One of the things that made me to have less sympathy to these thousands of piracy websites like Indo21 is the fact that it and a lot of other piracy websites here are filled with ads that might potentially contain viruses or malwares. Just a brief visit on any of these websites and you will see the ridiculous amount of ads that straight up encourage online gambling in websites where people can just siphon money out of you. It's not just that you need a VPN to get through these websites, you also need an ad blocker and an antivirus set to whatever the strongest protection mode that you have. It's one thing for you to illegally pirate films. It's another thing for you to profit from it by promoting these websites that encourage illegal gambling and scams. So rest assured, I don't trust these websites, and their demise is something that I'm rather indifferent with. I just find the act of the government constantly stomping on these websites like a twisted game of whack-a-mole to be the most entertaining thing to have come out of this decade. As the government gets busy playing their game of whack-a-hydra, the corporations are doing their best in trying to prevent piracy through other means like copyright strikes or the MCA, basically what Nintendo has been doing. They're so desperate on stopping it when the solution for this problem is right in their faces, as in, learn from the pirates. Learn why people are pirating stuff instead of legally purchasing them. If we're talking about movie piracy, one of the things that you can do is to provide consumers with an easier access to a huge library of films. That's what Netflix was trying to be, and they did their job well for the most part, but then you have the 200 plus other streaming services trying to compete against each other. So many options, so many confusions, and you wonder why people go back to good old piracy. It's kind of a shame shame because we do have legal streaming services here. Google Play has its own selection of films and they're listed at the Indonesian price. At least the last time I visited, it was Indonesian price. I don't know why they're not Indonesian price now, but okay. There's also Hook, which has a bunch of films and shows. iFlix, the Netflix knockoff from Malaysia, and even Netflix itself for those people who are fortunate enough in not using a service provider that doesn't block it. These legal streaming websites have existed for a while now, but unfortunately, not a lot of people here use those websites, primarily because, well, they don't know that these things exist. It's a shame because once you visit those websites, they actually have decent features. You can watch these films or TV shows just fine right out of the box. There are some drawbacks though. Some films from Hook doesn't have Indonesian subtitles. iFlix does have anime like Made in the Biz, but also no Indonesian subtitles, only Malaysian because, well, it's a Malaysian website. For some reason, I cannot purchase anything out of Google's movie service. Maybe that's why people don't really use them. So it's gonna take a while for these websites to have more features, better accessibility, better libraries, better payment methods, and better everything to beat the unbeatable monster that is piracy. Providing easier, more convenient, and feature-rich legal means of film streaming is always gonna be much better than playing a game of whack-a-mole with these piracy websites. Maybe you should take notes in what these piracy websites do to make them attractive and inviting to people, even if they have to risk being spammed with tons of predatory and harmful ads that might contain malware. Let's start off with not giving them crap ads, shall we? To put it short, if you want to stop piracy, make it easier for people to buy these films or rent these films. Provide them with features and conveniences that are safer and miles better than what piracy offers. In case of Indonesia specifically, the piracy is still going rampant because people just don't know that these streaming websites exist because they don't really promote them. I've been to the theaters many times and I can't recall a moment where they promote their streaming websites into the public. Maybe you can start there and do the anti-piracy promotional campaigns, and you better do it quick before I see people's personal data getting stolen off of their computers or being infected by malwares that siphon their money off of other things. Or you can just keep whacking because that's the only thing that you can do these days.